The weather pattern across America is shifting, and if you've been paying attention to conditions over the past week, you already know something is changing. Let me show you what S happening right now, what S coming over the next 5 days, and what you need to do about it. I am looking at the latest model runs from NOAA, the National Weather Service updates from this morning, surface analysis charts, upper air data, and everything points to the same conclusion. Winter weather is arriving in force, not gradually, not a slow transition, a sharp, decisive shift that begins Tuesday and intensifies Wednesday. Here is the current situation. And I want to start here because understanding where we are right now helps you understand where we were going. From Texas east through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, conditions have been unusually warm, not just mild, warm. Temperatures in the low to mid-70s across much of the region. Humidity levels elevated. The atmosphere over the Gulf Coast has been unstable for days. That instability produced severe weather this morning. Tornado warnings in Mississippi. Strong thunderstorms across the region. This is the kind of setup you typically see in spring, not mid-January. But that is what happens when you have abundant Gulf moisture and temperatures 15 degrees above average. Meanwhile, 1,500 miles to the northwest, it's a completely different world. Eastern Colorado woke up to temperatures in the teens this morning, wind chills near zero. That S Arctic air, true Arctic air, not just cold for January. This air mass originated over northern Canada, traveled south across the Dakotas and Nebraska, and settled over the high plains. Between these two extremes, you have transition zones. Missouri sitting around 40 degrees, quiet weather, calm winds, almost boring. South central Wisconsin started this morning with rain. By midday, some locations already reporting snow. That transition from rain to snow tells you everything about how rapidly this pattern is changing. The contrast I just described, that S not stable. When you have Arctic air in one location and tropical air in another, separated by only 1,000 miles, the atmosphere doesn't tolerate that contrast for long. It tries to equalize. It creates storms. And that S, exactly what S about to happen. Let me explain the meteorology, because you deserve to understand the mechanics, not just hear about snow totals. In the upper atmosphere, around 30,000 feet, the jet stream is diving south. We call this a trough, not a weak ripple. A deep, amplified trough that's pulling Arctic air straight down from Canada into the central and eastern United States. At the same time, low pressure is developing along the front that separates the Arctic air from the Gulf air. This low-pressure system will track from the Ohio Valley Tuesday night through the mid-Atlantic Wednesday and off the coast of New England Thursday. As it moves, it taps into that Gulf moisture, pulls it northward. When moisture meets cold air, you get precipitation. When the cold air is deep enough, that precipitation falls as snow. And in this case, the cold air is plenty deep enough. The models have been remarkably consistent. The GFS model locked onto this pattern 5 days ago. The European model agrees. The Canadian model, same story. When you see that kind of agreement across multiple modeling systems, you have high confidence in the overall pattern. Now, snowfall amounts. That S where uncertainty increases. Because small changes in the track of that low-pressure system make huge differences in who gets snow versus who gets rain. A 50-mile shift in the track changes everything for cities along the I-95 corridor, but I am getting ahead of myself. Let me walk through this region by region, day by day, because the timing matters as much as the totals. Starting with the Deep South. If you re-in the Gulf Coast states, Texas through Florida, here S your timeline. Today, Monday, you are still dealing with that warm, unstable air. Scattered showers and thunderstorms continue. Some storms could turn severe, particularly across Mississippi and Alabama. The Storm Prediction Center maintains a slight risk for severe weather through tonight. Tuesday, the cold front approaches. Morning temperatures still in the 60s and 70s. But by afternoon, the front starts pushing through from west to east. Western Louisiana and eastern Texas see the front first. Temperatures drop sharply behind it. By Tuesday evening, temps falling into the 50s, then 40s. Tuesday night, the front sweeps across the entire Gulf Coast. Rain ends from west to east. Skies clear. And here's the critical point. That clear sky behind the front allows temperatures to crash. Wednesday morning, you are waking up to temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Inland areas, some locations dip into the 20s. Wednesday, high temperatures struggle to reach 50 degrees across most of the Deep South. That S 25 to 30 degrees colder than Monday. Wednesday night, widespread freeze conditions inland. Temperatures in the 20s, some areas dropping to near 20 degrees. For Florida, the cold arrives Wednesday. Northeast Florida, you've been enjoying perfect weather. That ends Wednesday afternoon when the front arrives. Temperatures Wednesday night drop into the 40s near the coast, 30s inland, upper 20s across North Florida. This is the first significant cold push of the season for many areas. If you have sensitive plants, cover them or bring them inside. Pipes in unheated areas need protection. Let faucets drip Wednesday night if you have pipes in exterior walls or crawl spaces. Now let's say move north. The Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, Southern Appalachians. Tuesday night, the Arctic front arrives. Rain changes to snow across parts of Kentucky, West Virginia, far western Virginia. But this is just the opening act. Snowfall. Tuesday night stays light, 1 to 3 inches at most. The air hasn't been cold long enough for significant accumulation. Wednesday is transition day. Morning snow tapers off, skies clear, temperatures drop. Wednesday night, lows fall into the teens across much of the region, single digits in the mountains. That sets the stage for what comes next. Thursday, a secondary low-pressure system develops along the front as it stalls across the region. This brings another round of snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And this one has more punch. The air is colder. The system taps into more moisture. Snowfall amounts Wednesday night through Thursday. Tennessee Valley, 2 to 4 inches. Ohio Valley, 3 to 6 inches. Southern Appalachians, 4 to 8 inches. Higher elevations in West Virginia, Western Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, 6 to 12 inches possible. The key here is that this isn't one continuous snow event. It is 2 separate waves. Tuesday night, light snow. Wednesday night into Thursday, heavier snow. If you are planning travel through this region, Wednesday during the day offers your best window. Now the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. This is where the heaviest snow falls, and this is where the forecast gets complex. The setup is textbook. Cold air in place. Moisture streaming north. Low pressure tracking up the coast. Everything you need for a significant snow event. Tuesday night, snow overspreads western Maryland and West Virginia. Light at first. By midnight Tuesday, snow reaches the I-81 corridor. Still light to moderate intensity. Wednesday morning, snow continues across interior areas, but here's where it gets interesting. Along the coast, from Washington through Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, temperatures hover right around freezing. That's the critical threshold. Above 32, you get rain. Below 32, you get snow. Early Wednesday morning, many coastal areas start as rain or a mix. But as the day progresses, cold air wins. The changeover to snow happens. By Wednesday afternoon, pure snow falls across the entire Mid-Atlantic. Wednesday evening through Wednesday night, the snow intensifies. This is the jackpot period. Snow falling at 1 to 2 inches per hour. Winds increasing, northeast winds 20 to 35 miles per hour, gusts to 50 along the immediate coast. These are borderline blizzard conditions in some areas. Not a blizzard by the technical definition everywhere. The technical definition requires sustained winds of 35 miles per hour and visibility below a quarter mile for 3 hours. Some areas hit that threshold, others come close. But whether it meets the technical definition or not, travel becomes extremely dangerous. Thursday morning, snow continues but begins to taper from west to west. Western Maryland and West Virginia see snow ending Thursday morning. I-95 corridor continues through midday. New York and southern New England see snow into Thursday afternoon. Northern New England, snow continues into Thursday evening. Snowfall amounts. And I need to be honest about the range here. Interior areas have the highest confidence. Western Maryland, 6 to 12 inches. Central Pennsylvania, 8 to 14 inches. Upstate New York, 10 to 16 inches. The Poconos, Catskills, similar amounts. These areas stay cold enough that mixing isn't a concern. The I-95 corridor faces more uncertainty. Current thinking 8 to 14 inches for most areas. But that range could shift. If the low tracks farther south, amounts increase, 12 to 18 inches possible. If the low tracks farther north, more mixing occurs, 6 to 10 inches. Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. You are all in that zone of uncertainty. By Tuesday night, we'll have better clarity. The 12-hour forecast is always more accurate than the 72-hour forecast. Coastal New Jersey, Long Island, Southern Connecticut, Rhode Island, similar story. 8 to 12 inches looks reasonable right now, but ocean influence could reduce totals near the immediate shoreline if winds stay out of the east too long. New England gets the tail end Thursday, but don't let that fool you. Systems often intensify as they move up the coast. Boston, Providence, Hartford, Worcester. Snow develops Thursday morning, intensifies Thursday afternoon and evening. Thursday night, peak intensity. Friday morning, snow tapers off. Snowfall amounts for southern New England, 8 to 14 inches from current model guidance. Interior sections, higher amounts. The Berkshires, 15 to 20 inches. Northern New England, which includes Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, sees snow Thursday afternoon through Friday. Amounts 6 to 12 inches for most areas. The White Mountains in northern Maine, 12 to 18 inches under the persistent upslope flow. Great Lakes region. Your pattern differs from the coast. You re-dealing with the Arctic front itself plus lake effect snow. Tuesday night, the front arrives. Temperatures crash. Wednesday, highs only in the teens and 20s across much of Michigan, northern Indiana, Ohio. But the storm system tracking up the coast stays to your east. You don't get the heavy coastal snow. Instead, you get lake effect. Wednesday night through Friday, northwest winds develop behind the system. Those winds blow across Lakes Erie and Michigan, picking up moisture and dropping snow downwind. Traditional lake effect snow belts, east of Cleveland, the snow belt. Michigan ES west coast from Muskegon north through Traverse City. Northwest Indiana near Michigan City and LaPorte, South Bend. You know what lake effect means. Under the persistent bands, 12 to 24 inches through Friday. Outside the bands, 2 to 6 inches. It's the usual story. Your neighbor 5 miles away might see 8 inches while you see 18. Lake effect is hyper-local, western North Carolina and the southern Appalachians. You've been asking about snow potential. Here's the honest assessment. The main system Wednesday brings rain to lower elevations. Above 4,000 feet, that could change to snow Wednesday night. But significant accumulation is unlikely because the air hasn't been cold long enough before the system arrives. Maybe a coating to 2 inches at the highest elevations. The better chance comes Thursday, that secondary system I mentioned earlier. That one moves through when colder air is in place. Mountains above 3,000 feet could see 3 to 6 inches Thursday into Friday. Not a major snow event, but winter weather nonetheless. Now let's talk about what happens after the snow, because the cold that follows is just as important as the snow itself. Behind this system, high pressure builds south from Canada. Arctic high pressure. This brings the coldest air of the season so far to the eastern two-thirds of the country. Thursday night into Friday morning. Low temperatures. Mid-Atlantic, single digits to low teens. Some suburban and rural areas near zero. Wind chills below zero widespread. Some areas below -10. Northeast, 0 to 10 degrees for lows. Wind chills -10 to -20. Northern New England below zero. Wind chills -15 to -25. Great Lakes region well below zero. Chicago, single digits. Wind chills -10 to -20. Minneapolis, which has seen cold all winter, this just continues your pattern. Below zero. Wind chills -20 to -30. Even the South sees hard freeze conditions. Tennessee, low 20s. North Georgia, upper teens. North Carolina, teens to low 20s. These are the coldest temperatures of the season for many southern locations. Friday night into Saturday morning, it gets colder. Clear skies allow maximum cooling. Some areas see their coldest temperatures in several years, not record cold, but cold enough to cause problems if you are not prepared. The cold persists through the weekend. Saturday, high temperatures. Northeast, upper teens to mid-20s. Mid-Atlantic, mid-20s to low 30s. Great Lakes, teens. That's 20 to 30 degrees below normal for mid-January. This isn't a quick shot of cold air that moves through in 24 hours. This is a multi-day Arctic outbreak. Thursday through Sunday, 4 days of well below normal temperatures across the eastern United States. You need to understand what this means for daily life, because cold this extreme requires preparation beyond just wearing a coat. Pipes freeze when temperatures drop below 20 degrees for extended periods, especially if there's wind, and we're going to have plenty of wind. Thursday night through Saturday, northwest winds 15 to 25 miles per hour. That wind accelerates heat loss. Pipes in unheated spaces, exterior walls, crawl spaces, they are all at risk. Let faucets drip, not a steady stream, just a pencil-lead thin drip. Moving water doesn't freeze as easily as standing water. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warm air to circulate around pipes. If you have pipes in a garage, keep the garage door closed. Heating systems will work hard. If your furnace hasn't run much this winter because of mild weather, this is its test. Change the filter now if you haven't recently. A clogged filter reduces efficiency and can cause the system to shut down. For those using supplemental heat, space heaters, fireplaces, wood stoves, safety is critical. Never leave space heaters unattended. Keep them 3 feet away from anything flammable. Never use your oven to heat your home. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every winter. Speaking of carbon monoxide, if you lose power and use a generator, that generator goes outside. At least 20 feet from the house, never in the garage, never in the basement. Carbon monoxide is odorless. You can smell it. By the time you feel symptoms, it's often too late. Power outages are possible Wednesday night through Thursday. Heavy, wet snow combined with strong winds brings down tree branches and power lines. Have flashlights ready, battery-powered radio, keep cell phones charged. If you lose power and your home becomes unsafe due to cold, know where your nearest warming center is located. Travel Wednesday night through Thursday across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Dawn T. Just Dawn T. Unless it's a true emergency, stay home. Snow falling at 1 to 2 inches per hour. Visibility near zero at times. Winds gusting to 50. This is whiteout territory. No meeting is worth your life. No appointment justifies that risk. If you absolutely must travel Wednesday or Thursday, prepare your vehicle. Full tank of gas, winter emergency kit, blankets, water, non-perishable food, flashlight, first aid kit, shovel, ice scraper, bag of sand or cat litter for traction, fully charged cell phone. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. If you get stuck, stay with your vehicle. You are more visible to rescuers. Run the engine for heat only 10 minutes each hour to conserve fuel. Clear snow from the exhaust pipe every time before you run the engine. Carbon monoxide can back up into the vehicle if the exhaust is blocked. The I-95 corridor from Washington to Boston faces the highest impact Wednesday night through Thursday. If your travel can wait until Friday, wait. One day makes an enormous difference. Friday, the snow has stopped. Plows have had time to clear main roads. Travel is still challenging but no longer life-threatening. For the elderly, this cold presents serious risks. Hypothermia can develop in just 30 minutes when you combine temperatures in the single digits with wind chills below zero. Older adults are particularly vulnerable because their bodies don't regulate temperature as efficiently. Check on elderly neighbors and family members. A phone call is good. An in-person visit is better if you can safely do it. Make sure they have adequate heat. Make sure they have food and medications. Many older adults grew up in an era when people toughed it out. But toughing it out in your 80s with wind chills of -15 is how people die. For those with cardiovascular issues, snow shoveling is dangerous. Heart attacks during snow shoveling happen every winter. The combination of cold air, which constricts blood vessels, plus sudden physical exertion creates the perfect storm for cardiac events. If you must shovel, take breaks. Do it in stages. Dawn to try to clear a foot of snow in one session. Clear a path Wednesday night. Clear again Thursday morning. Clear again Thursday afternoon. 3 short sessions beat 1 marathon session. Better yet, hire someone. Neighborhood teenager with a snowblower. Local landscaping company. It costs money, but it is cheaper than a hospital bill. And I am not being dramatic. Emergency rooms see a spike in heart attacks during and after major snow events. It is documented in the medical literature. For those with migraines or chronic sinus issues, rapid pressure changes. Wednesday trigger symptoms for many people. This isn't tea in your head. Atmospheric pressure drops significantly as the low pressure system intensifies. Your sinuses respond to that pressure change. Have your medication ready. Stay hydrated. Health departments across the affected areas will likely issue cold weather advisories. Listen to them. Frostbite can occur on exposed skin in 10 to 15 minutes when wind chills drop below -15. Fingers, toes, nose, ears, these are the most vulnerable areas. Cover them completely. Multiple thin layers work better than one thick layer. Looking ahead beyond this system, the cold moderates somewhat early next week. But we're not going back to the mild pattern of early January. The jet stream remains in a configuration that favors below normal temperatures and periodic storm systems. Another system appears possible late next week, around January 20th through 22nd. Too far out for details, but the overall pattern supports continued winter weather across the eastern United States through the end of January at minimum. For those who have been waiting for winter, Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, many areas that have seen minimal snow this season, this is your pattern, not just this one storm. The entire pattern that follows. Winter arrives Wednesday, it sticks around for weeks. For those tired of winter already, the northern tier, Minnesota, North Dakota, Michigan, Upper Peninsula, you don't get a break either. The active pattern continues. Lake effect snow, clipper systems, below normal temperatures. That is your reality through late January. The western United States stays under a different pattern, mild temperatures along the coast. Periodic rain for Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, snow in the Cascades and Sierra Nevada. But nothing unusual. The blocking pattern keeps the active weather over the east. Let me pull this together, because there's a lot of information here, and I want the key points to be clear. Major winter storm Wednesday through Thursday. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast hardest hit. 8 to 14 inches of snow for most areas. Some locations could see more. Strong winds, dangerous travel conditions. Arctic cold follows, Thursday night through the weekend. Single digits widespread, below zero in many areas. Wind chills brutal. This is the coldest air of the season so far. Preparation must happen before Wednesday. After the storm starts, it's too late. Check heating systems, protect pipes, stock essentials, cancel non-essential travel. This is not a one-time event. The pattern that brings this system remains active. More winter weather likely over the next several weeks. This is the new normal for the rest of January. For perspective, what does this storm rank in terms of significance? It's not the blizzard of '96. That storm dropped 2 to 3 feet across much of the mid-Atlantic, but it's a legitimate winter storm. 8 to 14 inches is enough to shut down cities. Combine that with wind and you have major impacts. The cold that follows is below normal but not record-breaking. The polar vortex of 2014 saw temperatures 20 to 30 degrees colder than what we are expecting this week. But single digits with wind chills below zero is still serious. It still requires preparation. The National Weather Service will issue winter storm warnings and watches. Pay attention to them. They have more specific information for your exact location than I can provide in a national overview. Your local forecast office knows the local terrain, the local climatology, the subtle factors that affect your specific area. Download their app, sign up for alerts. When they issue a winter storm warning, that means conditions are expected within 24 hours. Take action immediately. When they issue a winter storm watch, that means conditions are possible within 48 hours. Use that time to prepare. The bottom line: winter weather arrives Wednesday. Significant snow for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Arctic cold follows for everyone east of the Rockies. This requires your attention. This requires preparation, not panic, not overreaction, but serious, thoughtful preparation. You've been through winter before. Many of you have seen worse storms than this, but even experienced people need to prepare. Even those who have lived through the blizzard of '96 still need to check their heating system and protect their pipes. This forecast will be updated as new information comes in. Snowfall amounts will be refined. Timing will become more precise, but the overall message remains the same. Major winter weather Wednesday through Friday. Extreme cold through the weekend. Prepare now. Check on your neighbors. Stock up on essentials. Cancel unnecessary travel. This is how you get through winter weather safely. Not by toughing it out, not by ignoring the forecast, but by preparing intelligently and taking the threat seriously without panicking. That's the forecast. That's what you need